Guys, finally, Gen 5 heroes have arrived in many servers. And if you are currently entering Gen 5, or you are already playing in a Gen 5 server, there's one very important thing you need to understand. This is not 2025 anymore. By 2026, we already have Gen 6 and even Gen 7 heroes on many servers. So simply saying, get every new hero because they are stronger, is terrible advice. The real question is, which Gen 5 heroes are actually worth spending your precious mythic shards, widgets, and resources on? Which heroes can carry you through KVK, castle battles, arena, bear hunt, and other events? And which Gen 5 heroes should you skip if you are free to play or a low spender? Because all three Gen 5 heroes are good, but they are not equally valuable. So in this video, I'm going to break down Longfay, Thud, and Viven, explain exactly where each hero shines, where they fall off, who should invest in them, and most importantly, which hero I would prioritize for long-term account growth in 2026. Let us start with the most accessible Gen 5 hero, Longfay. Longfay is your Gen 5 infantry hero, and because he comes from the Lucky Wheel, he is automatically one of the most important Gen 5 heroes for free-to-play and low-spending players. And this is actually one of the biggest reasons I like Longfay. You do not have to completely destroy your mythic shard inventory just to build him. You can gradually build him through the wheel, while saving your premium resources for the heroes that are harder to obtain. But what makes Longfay good? His entire kit is built around surviving longer and becoming more dangerous when his health gets low. His expedition skills give your army a chance to reduce incoming damage, increase defense, and gain additional damage opportunities. And this becomes especially interesting when you are using formations like 50, 20, 30. Longfay is not simply another infantry hero with bigger numbers. His kit gives your frontline more staying power, which means your backline gets more time to deal damage. And that is extremely important in long PvP fights. His conquest skills make this even more obvious. He gets control immunity, becomes harder to kill when his health drops below 50%, and gains additional attack while he is in that low health state. And then his exclusive weapon makes the whole idea even better by extending his control immunity and allowing him to restore health based on the damage he deals. So basically, Longfay wants to be in the front line. You want him taking damage, you want him surviving that damage, and once he reaches the lower health threshold, he becomes harder to finish. This is why Longfay is such a valuable hero for arena, PvP, Mystic Trial, Swordland, and other content where keeping your front line alive matters. But here is the important 2026 warning. Do not assume Longfay automatically replaces every older infantry hero in every situation. This is where a lot of Gen 5 guides become outdated. For example, your existing Gen 4 or even older hero can still outperform a low-star Longfay if that older hero has much better stars, gear, widgets, and account synergy. So do not throw away a heavily invested hero just because Longfay is newer. Build Longfay progressively. Once he reaches the investment level where his stats and exclusive weapon actually give you an advantage, then make the switch. Now let us move to Thud. And Thud is probably the most misunderstood Gen 5 hero. Thud is your cavalry hero, but she is not designed to be the universal answer for every event. She is much more specialized. Her biggest strength is offensive PvP. Her expedition kit supports mixed formations, especially formations where infantry and archers are doing a lot of the work. She can increase damage dealt and reduce damage taken for infantry and archers, while her cavalry can trigger additional damage. Then you have her 4 attack mechanic, where after enough cavalry attacks, your army gets another temporary damage and survivability boost. And this is where Thud becomes very interesting in PvP. She can contribute damage in ways that older cavalry heroes simply could not. Her cavalry attacks can also hit multiple enemy troop types, meaning she can pressure enemy archers and cavalry before the enemy infantry completely disappears. That makes her particularly interesting in castle battles, KVK fights, offensive rallies, and other situations where you are trying to break a strong opponent. And her exclusive weapon gives her an offensive rally lethality bonus. So if you are a rally leader, a heavy spender, or someone who specifically wants to build around offensive cavalry, Thud becomes extremely attractive. But here's the big problem. Do not build Thud just because she is Gen 5, especially if Bear Hunt is your main priority. Testing from the original Gen 5 research showed that Thud does not perform as well as Petra for Bear Hunt, largely because the bear is coded differently, and Thud cannot fully exploit the parts of her kit that make her powerful in PvP. So if your account is mostly about Bear Hunt, Thud is not the hero I would rush. If your account is about PvP and offensive rallies, the answer changes completely. And that brings us to Viven. Viven is the Gen 5 archer hero, and in my opinion, she is probably the most interesting Gen 5 hero when you look at the entire kit. Why? Because Viven is useful in multiple areas. First, Arena. Viven is absolutely terrifying in Arena. Her ultimate is a large area attack that can target the enemy backline and reduce enemy attack speed. Her other skills continue dealing damage, and her exclusive ability can add even more damage whenever she uses her skills. So instead of simply attacking the front line and waiting for it to disappear, Viven can put serious pressure on the enemy's most dangerous heroes. That makes her extremely valuable in Arena. But her expedition skills are arguably even more interesting. Viven can increase the damage your army deals by making the enemy take more damage. And this is important because these effects can interact with other hero bonuses differently from simple attack or lethality buffs. Her other skills also create periodic bursts of additional damage. So when the timing lines up correctly, Viven can create some very strong damage windows. This makes her valuable for PvP and also gives her utility as a rally joiner in content where her first expedition skill applies. But again, there is an important 2026 consideration. Viven is not the automatic best bear hunt hero just because she is Gen 5, and she is also not automatically the best garrison hero just because her exclusive weapon is defensive. Her actual value depends on what you are building. If you are heavily focused on Arena, Viven is one of the easiest Gen 5 heroes to justify. If you are a spender who participates heavily in PvP and rally content, she is also very attractive. But if you are free to play and your main goal is simply maximizing resources for the next several generations, you need to think twice before dumping every mythic shard into her. Because remember, by 2026, Gen 6 and Gen 7 are already available on many servers. That means your Gen 5 investment needs to have a purpose. So now, let us answer the most important question. Who should you actually prioritize? For free-to-play players, my number one recommendation is Longfay. It is very simple. He is available through the Lucky Wheel, he gives you a new generation of infantry stats, he improves your front line, and he has value across multiple PvP and multi-team activities. You can build him without destroying your entire mythic shard supply. My second choice for free-to-play would depend on your account. If you are an Arena player, Viven becomes very interesting. If you are heavily focused on PvP, and you can acquire Thud efficiently, then Thud can also be valuable. But I would not recommend trying to max all three. That is the biggest mistake you can make. For low spenders and mid spenders, I would prioritize Longfay first. Then choose between Viven and Thud based on your playstyle. If you are more defensive, more arena-focused, or want a strong archer investment, go Viven. If you lead offensive rallies and care heavily about KVK, castle battles, and PvP, go Thud. And for heavy spenders, all three can have a place because you can afford to specialize your account around multiple formations. Now let us talk about Bear Hunt because this is where people waste a lot of resources. Do not automatically replace your best bear heroes with Gen 5. Bear Hunt is different from Arena, it is different from Castle Battle, and it is different from KVK. A hero can be amazing in PvP and mediocre in Bear. Thud is the perfect example. Her PvP kit is extremely interesting, but Petra can still remain the better investment for Bear, depending on your existing investment. Viven can provide useful rally joining value, but you should compare her against the heroes you already have before spending heavily. And Longfay is not a hero I would build specifically for Bear Hunt. Build him for your overall account strength. Now for KVK and Castle Battles, this is where Gen 5 becomes much more exciting. Longfay gives you a stronger infantry frontline and better survivability. Thud gives offensive players another powerful cavalry option and can provide serious pressure in mixed formations. Viven gives you another way to pressure enemy heroes and improve damage output. So together, Gen 5 gives you a very strong PvP package. But you do not need all three to benefit from the generation. You need the right one for your role. And here is the most important long-term rule. Never invest in a hero just because the generation number is higher. Look at your role first. Are you a rally leader? Are you mainly a garrison player? Are you a bear hunt joiner? Do you care about arena? Are you free to play? Or are you a spender who wants to dominate KvK? Your answer changes the correct hero. And this is especially important in 2026 because later generations already exist. A Gen 5 hero with excellent long-term utility can still be worth building, but you should not blindly max every Gen 5 hero when your server is already moving toward Gen 6 or Gen 7. So here is my final Gen 5 ranking. For free-to-play and resource efficiency, Longfay is number 1. For arena and offensive support, Viven is one of the strongest choices. For offensive PvP, rally leading, and cavalry-focused accounts, Thud is the specialist you want. For bear hunt, do not automatically replace your established heroes. And for long-term account growth, the most important thing is not owning every Gen 5 hero. It is having 1 or 2 Gen 5 heroes properly invested instead of having 3 half-built heroes. That is the difference between having a bigger hero collection and having a stronger account. So if Gen 5 has just arrived in your server, do not panic. Do not spend everything on day 1. Start with the hero that matches your account. Build Longfay if you're free to play. Choose Viven if arena, archers, and damage support are your priority. Choose Thud if you are an offensive player and rally leader. And most importantly, keep your long-term plan in mind because Gen 6 and Gen 7 are already changing the meta on older servers. If you found this guide useful, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments which Gen 5 hero you are investing in. And I will see you in the next one. Happy gaming.